Hello.
Hello.
What's up, everybody? It's Erin.
And Nicole. This is Dude That's Fucked Up.
A podcast.
A podcast for the people.
For the people.
Mm-hmm. What people? You people. The people we love.
Hello, all you lovely people. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. I hope you like it. If not, sorry.
We're not going to explain anything about what this podcast has to offer, and you're just going to have to find out. And wow, is it going to be a lot for you?
See if you like it. Maybe you'll love it.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll hate it. Maybe you're like, meh. I'll see what else there is out there.
Yeah.
You know.
Either way, we don't care.
We just talk to each other because we're best friends, and this is a fun way to do it. And
oh my gosh,
my God, what a time to be alive, you know?
Yeah, totally, 100%.
Love it. Do we have any business this week happening?
No, I don't think so. No biz.
All right. Well, I'm going to plug the website per usual. Go to DTFUpodcast.com.
Yeah. I was going to say we've been plugging the Patreon.
Oh my gosh. Guys, we've got some good shit on there this month.
Oh my gosh. We recorded, which I need to post to the Patreon because it's just sitting there with no one watching it. But we did our bonus episode on Tuesday, and it was so fun. And I feel like this is kind of connected in a way or something. Like it felt similar.
Totally.
Yeah.
We did so we've done an episode on the Palace of Versailles and how disgusting it was in its heyday when all these people of the court were living there, and there was also a big scandal. So we did an episode about this big scandal. It's very interesting, very fun.
Yeah, the affairs.
There's poison happening, which didn't really need to happen because they were just
poisoning themselves.
They were just literally not changing their wigs and getting anthrax. So
yeah, and just honestly, so many people were just dying from shitting on a cat and it just attacking their assholes to death, and that it was really sad.
If you know what we're talking about, then great. If you don't, then I highly recommend you listen to that episode because that's a real thing.
Yeah.
But not really, but kind of, you know.
Yeah.
So check all those things out. Yeah. Got merch in the store, stickers, fun stuff.
Fun. Bananas.
Bananas?
How many letters did I miss?
It's just the one, just the
bananas?
N. What are you drinking?
Get yourself a banana. I know I did make a drink, but I've barely had a sip of it, so I don't think it's that. I think I'm just tired.
Fair enough, dude. I'm right there with you. I'm so tired today.
Yeah.
It was just a long fucking day, man.
Oh my God. At least you have a parasite in your body you can blame. I have nothing. You're at least
you might have a parasite. You never know.
That's true. Oh my God. That just reminds me of right before we started recording, I checked my Facebook and someone posted in our secret Facebook group, a good neighbor, ringworm eclair.
No, tapeworm eclair.
Tapeworm eclair.
And it's a picture of an eclair that has
tapeworms.
But
it's all State Farm branding.
Yeah, it's fucking hate it.
I know,
hate
it was really gross.
I love it, but I hate it.
I know, I love it so much. I love it, and I hate it.
Rough.
Yeah, anywho.
Oh dear. Anything fucked up for you this week?
I don't really
Aside from seeing the tapeworm eclair?
Yeah, tapeworm eclair. No, it's been kind of a weird, busy week, but I'm getting through it, and tomorrow's Friday, and I'm very excited about that. And I wanted an eclair, but not anymore, I don't think.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Yeah. What was your do you have anything fucked up this week?
Nothing personally fucked up. I decided instead of focus, obviously I'm focusing on the big news stories of the day and trying to do what I can to pay attention to that and stay active and activated and involved. But I'm trying to, instead of for the purposes of the podcast, whenever I don't necessarily have anything personally fucked up for myself, and things are in the world generally fucked up every day, we know that, but I'm trying to find news stories that are fucked up and hilarious.
Oh yes,
So
fucked up in a fun way, fucked up light.
Yeah,
like
fucked up
it.
light.
Yeah.
This news story I saw. So I'm gonna start doing this. I think I'm gonna try to start doing this.
Yeah.
So.
What a good use of time too, since nothing's new every day.
Right, exactly.
It's like we got to look outward now.
There's other things happening in the world also, and some of it's still very funny.
Yeah.
So what a news story that I have been just laughing at basically is this in Canada, these oil lobbyists basically Streisand affected themselves.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So there's this child's Netflix, I think, movie or show. I don't know I think it's a movie.
Yeah.
And it's about Bigfoot. And like the whole premise is like how, there's like oil company trying to like build a pipeline or some shit. And it's just like very like of the time.
It's like a fern gully of the
It's like
new
a fern
times.
gully. Yeah.
But it's animated.
Like,
yeah.
But it has to do with Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And his family.
Yeah.
Living in, the Canadian wilderness or whatever.
Yeah.
So this fucking Canadian oil lobby got so fucking upset by it. First of all, this movie isn't even like on anybody's radar.
It wasn't.
It wasn't until these dumb motherfuckers gave him the best like free publicity you could ask for. Oh. So I guess the film's actually set in the United States. I think it's set in Alaska maybe. But the Canadian Energy Center, this is the lobby people.
Yeah.
The oil lobby, funded by the province of Alberta, has launched a campaign against the movie, which it says, quote, brainwashes children with, quote, anti-oil and gas propaganda. I don't know what century they're living in. I think all oil executives are probably not living in this current political or, climate.
Environmental, physical climate.
I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But sirs and madams, this is a dumb fucking hill to die on. You just shut up and eat your food.
Yeah.
That you make millions of dollars. Go. You're oil executives. Like nobody. You don't need fucking children to be worshiping you. I don't get. Like it is the funniest thing to me. It's so
dumb.
It's so dumb.
Also, it's like okay. I haven't seen the film, so I cannot say one way or the other. But I can place a pretty significant sum of a wager and guess that this movie isn't just essentially outright vilifying anyone who works for like the power company or whatever. It's like probably more about the environment and how like this is a guess, but like, oh no, like what we're doing with this, fracking or whatever. It's like it's like, oh, could have long-term effects on our environment, and maybe this is bad, and like Bigfoot, my dad is losing his home, and like all this stuff. This is
my
like
dad,
my
Bigfoot.
guess.
Oh no,
right? It's the dad. Isn't the Bigfoot the dad? Yeah. So it's probably like, oh, this used to be my home, but now see how everyone's like drilling it and fracking it, and it's like this is probably what the film's about. It's probably not like, who the fucking worst asshole scum of the earth is, and we should all do hate crimes against them?
Canadian Energy Center.
Like, no. I'm sorry. It's like
it is so dumb that the energy that they're putting into this has created so
energy. They should be putting that energy into energy.
Well, because they've like fully gone on the offensive where nobody was asking them to.
Yeah.
This movie, again, it's a children's movie about Bigfoot.
Yeah.
This movie is now like trending on Netflix because of it. They just like fully amplified this movie, and I think it's like terrible, probably.
Thanks
like,
for the free press.
Like, I think they were like getting like bad reviews,
Yeah.
and nobody wanted to watch it, and now it's just like, think I'm gonna watch that kids movie about Bigfoot.
Well, I saw in one of my friends' Discords, shout out to Sean, who I think started listening to our podcast recently. One of my Twitch friends. Oh my God.
Crossover.
He shared this article in his Discord and I was reading it. Also, the oil companies have gotten people to write letters to Netflix. It's like they're getting like the families of their employees or something to be like, what are you doing, ruining our livelihoods or whatever.
They're just like blatantly astroturfing like an issue that is already like not an issue. That's what I'm saying. It's like
so oppressed. They're feeling so oppressed.
They're trying to like use cancel culture to their advantage, which
it's so weird. It's like, I think you'll be fine. No one's ending oil tomorrow, you know.
We're trying, but
it's not going to happen. So everybody calm down.
Oh my God, it's just so funny. They're worried kids. They're literally worried kids are going to hate oil companies because of this movie. It's like, no, they hate oil companies because you're oil companies and you just, pollute the entire world. It's fine.
I'm more worried I'd be more worried about it causing like a generational fetish for Bigfoots. Cause like, is the Bigfoot dad hot? I think
What's his dick like?
What's his dick like? We probably don't see it in this animated film, but use your imagination.
My God, it is just the silliest thing to me. I just had to talk about it. I had to get it off my chest.
So dumb, but I feel like this leads into our segue for today a little bit because it's just like, I don't know, mostly men being dumb is my guess. I don't have like a great segue from this. But I did write out a little intro to our topic.
Fantastic.
Okay. I am bringing the same energy, though, because men have ruined everything for women, just like flat out, from walking at night to developing as a teen on our own to drinking with friends. We've said it before. We'll say it again. Our stance is that we burn it all down, put the men on an island, and then we start society from scratch, and then we go from there. It's like you need to earn your place back in society, and that's for everyone, including all the men we know, with the exception of Chris Evans. He can come.
Yeah, he's in.
He's
automatically. He's fine.
Yeah, he's very
That's America's
cool.
ass. Yeah, we need it. I love it.
Oh, I love it. Well, not only have they ruined so many things for us, just like in general, but for me personally today, men have also ruined craft beer for me.
Personally
for me. Because if anyone is into craft beer that's listening, it's a very like white, very male dominated field. That's changing, obviously, as everything is. But it's very, very slow. Even if you go to a beer festival, it's mostly like white dudes with beards. Mm-hmm. But what if we told you that women used to be the brewmasters and the alewives and the whatevers, and they were the ones making all the yummiest, most bubbliest, most hoppiest fucking drinks from stoutin'. They were out there stoutin'. They were fermenting. They were IPAing. They were lagerin'. They were logging.
They were.
They were Kenny Loggins out here just making all the beers, and it was a time. What a time to be alive.
We're talking like from our hunter-gatherer early ancestors to Viking days through the 18th century. Women dominated this field. Like this is what women did. Period. So our episode today is all about beer and how women were the original brewers or brewsters, if you will, and how and why that changed, and if there is a possible link to witchcraft.
Ooh.
Of course, there's always a link to witchcraft when it comes to women in the middle ages. Like, there's always going to be something. You'll see.
We're like taking it back. Like, I know women are like taking back witchcraft, but it's also just like, of course, they all called women witches.
Yeah, I remember this was like
a bad
death sentence for women back then. Yeah. So I highly recommend a great article titled "How Women Brewsters Saved the World" by Tara Nurin. She's the official historian of this organization called the Pink Boots Society. The Pink Boots Society, according to their website, their mission is they were created to assist, inspire, and encourage women fermented alcohol beverage industry professionals to advance their careers through education. So this is like a platform where women can, find resources who are interested in brewing beer as a profession or just like are passionate about it, whatever. Yeah. So definitely check that out.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's the Pink Boots Society. So yeah, it's very, very interesting. So we're gonna talk about from very early on to present day, like how women have factored into the whole process of making beer, how it all started, and where it's going.
Cool.
So the ancient origins to start. For centuries, nay, millennia, women were brewing the beer up in this bitch.
Ugh.
And by this bitch, I mean the whole world. In every country and culture, women were making the beers. They were called brewsters. We got rid of that word in modern day beer slang, though, because it's the feminine of brewer. So, yeah.
I'm gonna start just calling male brewers brewsters.
What's up, brewster?
And then when they go, oh, it's a brewmaster, I'm gonna go, I'm gonna actually them. Yes. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait to be back into the world. This is the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to a local craft brewery and I'm gonna say, "Oh, may I please speak to your head brewer?" When they come over to go, "Hello, yes, good day, Brewster." And then when he goes, "No," and I'll go, "Yes, you don't know," and actually,
yeah, tell him all about the history. Let us arm you with this knowledge.
Yeah,
so you can also do the actually. We've been in quarantine too long.
Help me.
So evidence shows that the world's first settlers began growing barley for beer and or bread as early as 10,000 BCE. Millennia before Jesus was born. Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
So many experts believe that the hunter-gatherers who preceded the Sumerians on the evolutionary timeline also brewed beer. They don't know how. There's like a lot of debate on how this like actually started because it seems like it might have been by accident. Like, they think like maybe it was accidentally like a fermentation process like happened naturally, like where their containers filled with like whatever drink got filled. They got some airborne yeast and like wild grains, whatever. And like it got into their grains, whatever. And it just like made this fermented bev that like was an early form of beer.
Wasn't everything an accident back then?
I mean, honestly, I think about this probably more. This thought occupies my brain more than any other. Is like, I'll pick up a fucking pineapple and be like, how the fuck did humans figure this out?
Yeah. How did they know how to eat this? How do they know how to get into it?
Like, how did we figure out how to cook shit so we wouldn't die from it? I don't know. It's just like all these things. Like, think about how much more the world expanded once, all these little trial and error things happened. Like, so many people had to die for the trial and error to happen. Oh, yeah. But yeah, so we're very lucky that we know how to do.
We live now.
That we live now. So,
and we know which plants are poisonous.
That's right.
Yeah.
And how to like open a fucking coconut.
And how to buy beer.
We don't even have to make it ourselves anymore. Well, whether or not like it's 100% accurate that, this is like kind of accidental or like maybe it was like some really smart person back in those very early hunter-gatherer days was like No, I get it. Like fermentation is a thing and it's going to fuck people up. So whatever the whole story is, archaeologists do agree that the vast majority of ancient brewers were women, 100% women. Dr. Patrick McGovern, a University of Pennsylvania biomolecular archaeologist, that is a cool fucking branch of archaeology to get into.
Yeah.
He says that while men were out hunting, women were out gathering the ingredients they needed to make other foods and to drink to go with the woolly mammoth or mastodon. Cool. What pairs with a woolly mammoth steak?
Erg.
I'm gonna go with the ale. I'm gonna
Erg. Do you have any more of those fermented beets over there? That'd be so great.
I think like a sweet note of a beet would be great.
Yeah,
with this
and
mastodon
like the
tongue.
earthiness.
Yeah, love that. Love that.
Oh my god,
Delicious.
Oh my god, it makes sense because like since the dawn of time, women have like, you know, been the homemakers and like the caretakers, and like it makes sense that if they're cooking the food and baking the bread and all that shit, that like, oh yeah, then they'll make the beer.
Yeah, because also they over time, like water sources were not always safe.
Yeah.
So you had to, make sure that was safe by like fermenting actually helps kill some of the bad bacteria, bring in that good bacteria. So, and Dr. McGovern also determined that the Mesopotamian drinking vessels that they've found on sites contain the earliest known barley beer. Hell yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Was it like a woolly mammoth horn?
Tusk? Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Who's to say? Probably just a clay pot.
Oh.
Dr. McGovern also says that in these early societies that cultivated grains for the purpose of fermenting and making beer, that women were the ones who made the household fermented beverages. Like this is just true across the board.
Makes sense. Do you think,
like you said, it makes sense. They're preparing all the food and stuff. So
maybe they were drinking too much. Like maybe like I wonder if the wheel and like fire and stuff could have been figured out so much sooner, but they were just like getting drunk every night and like
isn't that
living their life.
We just had St. Patrick's Day, and I always see the little factoid or like the little funny Wikipedia screen grab people post of like how there was a 300-year gap in innovation in Ireland after they invented whiskey. Like there was just like nothing.
Yeah.
For 300 years.
No,
I don't know.
Fake. Yeah,
I don't know. Who's to say?
That's funny. Yeah.
I can see it being real though.
I can see it being real and fake. I can see it being fake too, but that is funny.
I think it's maybe just a great Irish joke.
Yeah. Fun.
But yeah, so it's most well documented in the early Jesus. The most well documented and earliest recorded beer recipe comes from the ancient Sumerians, who had a literal beer goddess called Ninkasi. Now, maybe you've heard the name Ninkasi before because it's also the name of a fantastic brewery from DJ's hometown of Eugene, Oregon.
Oh,
have you ever had
history buffs up there?
Have you ever? Yeah, they're about it. I love that. Have you ever had a Ninkasi brewery beer?
I don't know.
You've probably seen it around. They make the Tricera hops beer. It's like a triple hopped beer.
Ooh, fun! Very on brand with Ninkasi.
So yeah, their history's oldest beer recipe comes from the Sumerians, and the recipe is an actual hymn dedicated to Ninkasi. So it's like they were worshiping.
Put in the grain.
Yeah.
Let it ferment. Drink it till you're drunk. I don't know what ahem sounds like.
I
but...
don't either. Yeah. Nor do I know what an ancient Sumerian hymn sounds like.
Probably. Oh yeah, I was maybe like Gregorian chants or something. But that's like them drinking the beer.
It's just all gargling noises.
Ugh, I don't like that.
Woof.
Oh God, this is on video.
Yeah, so the Sumerian women brewed a lot of low alcohol beer for religious ceremonies, and as part of their daily like food ration. I think it like had some calories, so that helped with the working out in the field and whatnot.
Empty cows.
Yeah, but Sumerian brewers enjoyed tremendous respect. Women brewers enjoyed tremendous respect, in part because they probably also served as the priestesses of Ninkasi. So they were like doing the brewing in service, not just of the community, but of their goddess.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Drink of your goddess.
Dude, this is who I want to worship.
Yeah, same. Oh, same. I think maybe we should bring this religion back.
I'm just looking for the goddess, like I'll bring goddesses from all the whole spectrum.
Not me. This one's a beer goddess. Yeah, she's fucking cool. All the other ones, I don't care. And maybe a wine one. Is there a weed goddess?
I'm sure.
A party goddess. Those ones are cool, but
yeah,
all the rest, meh. Take them or leave them.
Yeah. And then Babylonians were also about that beer life, and they also held women in high regard. Babylonian women had the right to divorce, own property, have businesses of their own. And some historians say they may have participated in some of the world's earliest commerce as they sold their beer with new forms of bookkeeping and writing.
Wow.
So like this is like when written records first started, like back in, these days in the Middle East. Like, the Code of Hammurabi, like all this shit was like brand new. And they're like, yeah, let's just like write this shit down. We need receipts, bitch. Women are always keeping the receipts.
If that's not the truth, I don't know what is.
Yeah, this is some capitalism I could get behind, though, for real.
Yeah. Well, women were in charge, so I'm for it.
Yeah. Women were encouraged in Babylonia to work as tavern keepers and professional bakers and brewers. So, very cool. And so at some point, either the Sumerians or the Babylonians introduced beer making to the Egyptians, who loved that shit. Loved it. Women in Egypt were also doing the brewing at first. Of course, at some point, men were like, you ladies sure are making a lot of money doing this cute beer stuff. Maybe the men should just start doing it instead. Just go back and just do the baking. Okay? So all the women, not all, but most women were pushed aside into like secondary roles of brewing. And brewing became massive in Egypt to the point that it was like a corporate level, big business kind of structure in Egypt. And this is like built up over, centuries, if not thousands of years in Egypt. And some historians say that Cleopatra herself lost her popularity towards the end of her reign more because she implemented a tax on beer, the first ever tax on beer, the first ever tax, I think, period, than for her wars with Rome, which the beer tax went to help pay for. So she was caught in a real pickle there. But yeah, so that's where historians think she lost her grip on power, is because of the beer tax, which is a very interesting little historical tidbit to me. Yeah. But this was just the Middle East kind of where a lot of civilization was really popping. But women were brewing all over the world. And long after this derailing of men in Egypt, it wasn't like a nail in the coffin by any means, because for many, many, many thousands of years after all this bullshit, women still were doing all the brewing, like we said.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the early years. We're going to get into some later years. But this was the first sign in Egypt that women really can't have anything of their own.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Except for their periods, maybe. I don't know. I don't know.
But even then, it's like people want to know what's going on. What day of your cycle is it? What does this mean for conception? You know, it's like everybody get out of my vagina.
Yeah, like we can't even have our own bodies. So
yeah.
it's you know, can't have anything.
I know.
Can't brew beer, can't have anything. So yeah, early Northern Europeans also worshipped their beer goddesses, just like ancient Middle Easterners did. And before the second millennium CE, most European women drank and brewed beer as well. So like we're talking migratory Germanic women who were brewing and like deep in the forest to avoid fucking Holy Roman invaders. You know, like this is the time frame that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And then like also English alewives who maintained their traditions until the Industrial Revolution. So this was like the level of which women were working. And like just like Eastern European, or not Eastern European, sorry. God, I'm so tired today. Middle East, just like Middle Eastern cultures, European women were feeding their husbands and children low alcohol, nutrient-rich homebrew. And especially in Europe, this was more sanitary than water. So this was necessary. Also in like Viking areas, like Norsemen, Vikings, they only allowed women to brew all, quote, AUL, which fueled their conquests. Only women were allowed to do that. And
it was like an honor.
Yeah, it was like...
Oh, okay. I was thinking like they're like, we're going to drink all these other kinds. You can brew this one.
No. They were like, we'll do like all the fighting. Although some women fought too. Yeah. But women, they were like, this is like the women's work. Like this is, you know, you do this. We'll go do all the brutal fighting.
Yeah.
We'll hop on these fucking cool boats and do some shit. But
just
Viking,
make sure we're buzzed.
Yeah, we just really need to be fucked because there was like they were doing some crazy shit.
Yeah, it was scary. Yeah.
Yeah. So because of this, Viking women drank the same ale that they drank, and they were like going cup for cup with these big old fucking Viking men. So
yeah,
this is why I know my friend Chrissy is for sure like a Viking at heart because I have never met anybody who could drink as much as her. Shout out to Chrissy. Love you, CJ.
She's Viking adjacent.
Oh my God.
Oh man. Yeah, it was I mean this is just like how it was in history, like from the beginning until the early 1700s, and it was just part of the woman's work in the household. Like they were just making essentially beer and ale and whatever and feeding it to the family, like you said, and everybody was like living off of it. But I don't think I don't know how much of it was being like sold. I don't know how much of it was like
capitalized on. It was just like everybody had their own homebrew situation, and
or it was like communal, like with the Vikings or whatever. It was like just your part, like what you had to do to like contribute to your society or whatever. But at some point, women started figuring out like, oh, like we could sell this. Like it's super time consuming. It's so much work. The process is lengthy also. It's not just time consuming in terms of making it, but like it takes a few days, you know. Maybe other people don't want to be making this. Maybe they'll buy it from us. So women started to have doing the, you know, businesswoman special. They were out here. They were the businesswomen. They were making money for selling their wares.
Absolutely. Get that money.
Yeah, make that money. Like, also selling beer, I don't think has ever been hard. Like, no. It's a recession-proof industry. We all know that some of the grossest beer has the highest sales. Part of it's marketing.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's like, yeah, come out here and do this. But it required a lot of work. It required, you know, moving bales of grains. There were like rodents and stuff that would get in your grains. You had to like shoo them out of the way. You had to stand over like the hearth, stir in the pot for long periods of time. You had to like haul this stuff. If you did want to go sell it in town, you had to like bring it into town.
Barrels of beer. Yeah.
Huge barrels of beer on a horse and shit. Like it was, and you had to like move it. You know, it was a lot of strenuous labor and time consuming labor. And then when you got to town, you probably had to talk to like a bunch of fucking mouth breathers who were like looking at your tits, and you're just like trying to sell this beer. And it sounds so exhausting, you know?
Absolutely.
Like who wants that? But that's a great way to make money. And women like to make things a little bit easier would like, you know, keep cats as pets around them and to chase the mice away, and they would like wear big fun hats to like advertise that they were selling beer, and huge like kind of cauldron things. All to like maximize profit. And this will be relevant later, but just remember this as we get into the next time period, which is essentially when all of the men weeded the women out of being brewsters, spunky brewsters. As Europe entered the Reformation period in the mid 1500s, society was like really, really, really solidified a woman's places in the home. They were like, there's no arguing with this. This is the bullshit that we're going to peddle to everyone, and you need to accept it. And at the same time, to the detriment of women, men were like, oh, I think we could like make a lot of money if we sold beer. Like we should be making the beer and selling it and making the money and like being in charge.
God damn it. Just like in ancient Egypt, this shit happened in medieval Europe.
Happens all the time.
Happens all the time.
It's forever.
We'll have it, you know, something good going.
Yeah.
And then it's
yeah.
Yeah.
And if it's not just like taking over, if it's not taking over for like monetary reasons, it's at least taking the credit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh yeah, this was my idea. It's like, excuse me, Tad, you don't have ideas, okay?
I should be your boss, but
yeah, but this world is sexist. Well, the men's first order of business was to discourage women from making beer and just being like, it's too much time, it takes you away from the kids, but like you should be making dinner and doing like house lady things, and that was like
so hard. You have it so hard. It's
like, but like, I don't know, your bread's not as good. Maybe it's the beer. Maybe you should just like try and not make it for a while. It's like, whatever. They were just like fucking around, just trying to weasel their way in. But also, I think that deterred some women, like a small amount, I would imagine. But also, I think it's possible that a lot of the women were kind of like early, like independent women. Like these were women that maybe weren't married, and they were. I mean,
it certainly makes having a profession that you're dedicated to possible when, especially in these days, like not being married, not having children. Like, this is it lends itself to having a much easier time having a career. It's, like anytime in world history. So yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And this would
Sheryl Sandberg out here trying to tell us we can have it all. Bitch, what?
No. Oh my God. How exhausting. You can if you're a millionaire.
Yeah, you can have everything you want when you have tons of money. Absolutely.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Oh, well, it didn't stop all of the women from going and brewing, and this irked the men, and they kind of out of nowhere, but not really because they had been doing this already, but you know, at a certain point it started picking up a lot of traction. They just started calling women who were brewsters witches. They you know, they just saw an opportunity, and they're like, well, we can't outmake the beer because I don't know why they couldn't, but you know, they were having a problem competing against these women selling their garbage inferior beer. And
their Bud Light Limes versus their fucking craft brew, like gold medal winning, like ales. Yeah.
They're Bud Light Limes.
They're like, oh, these hops are bad. Let's put some like lime flavor in it, maybe.
They're like,
to
how
cover
come no
up the
one likes
shit?
this strawberryta? I thought it was a great idea.
Listen, I'll drink a strawberry all day long.
Yeah, but you're going to feel sick afterwards, and then people are going to stop buying it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we don't want, I don't want diarrhea like every day, every time I drink beer. Come on.
Yeah, after my first beer. Yeah, this was not the first time that this had happened, but you know, like men had been doing this since forever times. Like in 1413, a brewster named Christine Colmier, her business was totally destroyed when a man named Simon Daniel told all her neighbors that she had leprosy. So this was like before the witch thing really caught on, but
What a fucking asshole.
What a fucking asshole. They were just out here trying to like discredit these women. And we haven't really talked about their social class, but generally these women were like of a lower social class and stuff. So like you could easily tarnish. You could just pick one and be like, no, she fucking sucks. And everybody believed you. It's disgusting. Mm-hmm. And then when the witchcraft stuff started like picking up steam, like this was happening all the time. In 1641, an unnamed widow brewing at the Ludlow Castle garrison found her entire trade to be lost when a male competitor spread false rumors about herself and her business. And it even women who just wanted to drink beer at a certain point were then lumped in with witches. This one woman, Anne Pettersdotter, who was I think a priest's wife, like someone related to the church.
Yeah.
She was just trying to buy some beer from a dude. Like she was like, hey, I just want to buy some beer. And he was like, witch, because she maybe said something not nice when he was like, I'm not going to sell you beer. And she's like, I curse you. And then he was like, witch. But then they fucking killed her.
Yeah. Like fucking burned her at the stake for like being sassy about this.
Yeah.
About not being served alcohol, which
we've all been there.
We've all been there. Can you imagine if you got burned at the stake every time you got sassy? No.
I went behind a bar and poured my own beer from a tap one time and got kicked out. But
well, it's worth it.
Which it was fair. It was worth it. And no one was even at the bar. They were like in the back. I was like, where is everyone? So I just took it upon myself. I was also intoxicated. But here's the thing. That definitely would have got me killed. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. You would have been dead ski.
And I've done worse. Let's be honest. But yeah, so this all predated the Salem witch trials, but it was building up to it. And we didn't really talk about this when we covered the witch trials, but like this all started in Europe, and there was an era called the Great Hunt, which was like a way longer time period. And all across Europe, and it, you know, it was pretty bad. But women were just being called witch and executed, and it was brutal. And the reason that this picked up a lot of traction is it happened to coincide. We talked about this was like the Reformation period. The Protestant church, which was like breaking away from the Catholic Church and like becoming its own thing, was like, oh, you know what? This is our opportunity for free advertising. Because if we get into this, you know, there's a lot going on, but we can play the good guy and like, it'll be great. So they used accusations of witchcraft to persecute women just to show like how hard ass they could be. And they would get people really riled up, and they would try to win them over, being like, we are more pure than the Catholic Church. We are more anti-witch. Like, look at us out here in the community cleaning up the streets. It was bad.
Meanwhile, there was the whole ass Spanish Inquisition happening, like where they were just murdering everybody, like
raping and murdering and pillaging. Like there was so much awful stuff going on at this time period, but like men were doing it, so it was fine, type thing. And I thought this was fun. There are these economists that wrote about this time period, Peter Leeson and Jacob Russ, and they compared what the Protestant church was doing to modern day like identity politics, kind of. Like they were like, okay, from 900 to 1400, the Catholic Church didn't acknowledge witchcraft really, and they did outlaw it, but they weren't like really into it. And it wasn't until the Protestant church was like, we're taking a hard stand, that then it was like, oh, this is something now that we all need to be involved in. Everybody pick a side. And it was like, why are we don't know, like
you
none
could
of this
just
seems
like
right.
you were and you were you were
fucked.
Yeah, you were fucked. It's
in so many ways, like
Oh my
honestly, yeah, women's lives during this time period was brutal.
Yeah.
And then super relevant to the witch hunt and beer, Germany, which was the center of the Protestant movement at the time, accounted for roughly 40% of these trials. And obviously, well, I mean, Germany, beer, obviously it's a big thing there. So like it just was like the perfect storm of shit.
Yeah.
And then the other, like Switzerland, France, England, Netherlands accounted for 35%. And then the countries that weren't like super involved were all the Catholic countries, like Spain, Italy. Spain had their own shit going on. Ireland. And so, as you can imagine, this scared so many women, and many of them stopped brewing because they were like, I don't want to be killed for this. That seems dumb.
This is like the like prohibition based, like prohibition for women making alcohol, beer, whatever.
Yeah.
But like on a scale of a million, you know, this is so crazy.
It was like high stakes and literal stakes, because they would be burned at one if
some man just decided that they were
just accuse them of witchcraft. And by the end of the 1600s, there had been roughly 80,000 accusations and 40,000 deaths.
Oh my God.
50%. That is insane. And historians argue that it's hard to know whether like brewsters, alewives were accused of being witches because they were in these positions making beer and brewing beer, or if it was due more so to their poor social position, but they went hand in hand.
Yeah, like we said, like a lot of these women probably didn't have a husband or children to have as like a, you know, respectability backstop or whatever you want to call it. And
these positions weren't, I mean, like throughout that time period, positions of being a baker, a cook, like a pub person, like they have different statuses, but you're not like nobility. You're not, you know, you don't have a high status. You're not a wealthy family. You're a working class family.
Yeah, you're working class and you're serving other people. Yeah.
And especially if you're like serving people not in a pub you own, but like off a wagon or whatever, and you're bringing, it's like a farmer's market situation, you know, it was like you don't have a space to sell this from. It's, you know, it's like a little bit of a different situation, and you maybe weren't looked on as like highly. And so, yeah, we know how it goes. Like women from socioeconomic classes are generally like lower socioeconomic classes are generally looked down upon versus like, and this is air quotes, respectable women with higher status. And that goes for everything. Like we just see it so much, and every year it becomes more apparent to me, like the class structure that we have in society.
100%. And you see it especially with the incident that happened in Georgia. Yeah. The women that were murdered by this white man. Yeah. It was 100%. The motive was racist. Yeah. And also the idea that the, you know, news outlets aren't actually even saying that these women were more than likely sex workers. Yeah. Like you can't have this narrative without saying that, because you're not, like, people are allowed to be human beings no matter what they do. And like, it's still sad no matter what. And so it's just like, they're automatically in this like subhuman category. And this is how it was then too. It's just like, you're less than if you're not a respectable woman, you don't matter. Your life doesn't count. And it was so easy to round these women up and say, you're a witch, and murder them. just like today.
It's fucking brutal.
Yeah.
Hashtag decriminalize sex work.
That's right.
Oh my God. That is something that, like, sidebar, just, I think we've talked about this before, but it's just like I used to think like, oh, especially at the beginning of like all of the protesting and stuff last summer and wanting to be more involved and feeling like I needed to focus my attention in so many other places. And then for me, I like realized, oh no, this is the beauty of intersectional work. This is the beauty of reproductive freedom and reproductive rights, and focusing on that is because it uplifts women and it uplifts them from every class and every situation. And that's positive for like the world, you know?
Oh yeah.
So,
it affects everything.
It affects everything. It is because women are already, you know, second class, and then when there's other issues involved, sex work, abortion, whatever, it just like muddies it even more. And it's like, no, we need to elevate that shit and make it acceptable and, you know, normal and legal and all these things. And honestly, I'm so over everyone policing people's bodies. It's like, I don't give a fuck what you do. I don't give a fuck. I still respect you. I want you to have dignity, and I want you to have the same quality of life as everyone else. Like, I don't give a shit. It's
literally
insane.
Yeah, I could go on and on.
I know.
Well,
yes.
this was happening back then.
Yeah.
So it's just these brewsters, these women they could not live their lives. It became very difficult for a period of time. Although we'll say a lot of women still continued on.
I think probably women with like families and stuff lucked out because maybe they were able to continue it being a family tradition, but like the men took over, you know, like the recipes and the traditions of some of these brewsters could have survived. It's just that the women were taken out of the picture and the men got all the credit, like we talked about earlier.
Yeah, but I mean, there were still women that were like brewing, like we mentioned before, up until like the Industrial Revolution, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's much later, after all the big sweeps of like, you know, the witchcraft sweeps were going on during the like 1500s, 1600s. So
yeah, 1600s, 1700s.
Yeah.
And while we're talking about witches, one of the things that has been like a hot debate recently with historians,
I love it.
I love it, is and I don't know that anyone's landed on one side or the other, but this has been a topic of debate, and that is that a few historians have been exploring the evidence that some of these brewsters and alewives contributed to our current iconography of witches, like how witches are portrayed in like media and cartoons and like their key characteristics. There's a theory that the witches' pointy hats came from the hats that these women would wear out in the market when they were trying to sell their beer so that patrons could find them easily in a crowd. Like they'd be like, oh, that's the beer lady over there. Let's go over there. Also cats, like the iconography of witches having cats or being associated with cats, because they would keep cats as pets in their
to keep as mousers so that they wouldn't have rodents in their grain and shit.
As like little predators for the mice. And then they'd be sweeping the grain and stuff, so a broom would be a part of the aesthetic as well. And of course the huge cauldrons that they would bring and set up and be stirring. So there are some of these like kind of icons that are associated with witches, and that has been a debate as of late, which is
I love it. Yeah. A lot of historians have disputed the like original kind of ideas, like you were saying, the pointy hats and the all that being related or connected to alewives based on other factors and origins of some other like witch iconography. One noted scholar, Peter Burke, who wrote his like, I don't know if it's like a white paper or a book, but I think maybe in a book. I would think it's a book. It's called
a blog post,
yeah.
a Tumblr.
A Tumblr, yeah. It's called Eyewitnessing the Use of Images as Historical Evidence.
Ooh.
And he says that the witch's hat and indeed the portrayal of the witch with a hooked nose comes from virulent anti-Semitism.
Oh.
That makes sense to me. Because this is all this kind of imagery is very present during like the Spanish Inquisition when they were just like murdering Jews constantly.
Yeah.
And he described the portrayal of a witch as absorbing and amalgamating with contemporary depictions of Jewish people as, quote, the migration of stereotypes. So that who knows like when it actually came more, I don't know. It's when it's something amalgamates like that, it's just like picked up and snowballs from century to century or from, place to place.
Well, and it can also, I mean, like if Jewish people were coming as immigrants, and then there's like feelings about that, like because that's not a new feeling, and then probably maybe some of them could have been like brewing and stuff, because it was more of like I know that gypsy is an offensive word, but I don't know another word for it. But like
the Roma.
Yeah, like the Roma is similar thing. It's like the Roma come from other countries.
Yeah,
and
the
they're
diaspora happens, and they have to like make a living somewhere and figure out life.
Yeah. Yep. And this is a way to, it's almost like having a food truck or something. It's like a lower point of entry type deal where you're like making your own goods to sell in the marketplace, and you don't need a lot of things to do that. And I could see how that could like be like have pre-existing stereotypes already coming into it and then feeding out of it,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. So this scholar Peter Burke also said that he cites a decree from Hungary from 1421 declaring that all those arrested for sorcery must wear tall pointed hats. And in early modern Spain, heretics were also required to wear similar garb. And he refers to this as the, quote, visual code expressive of subhumanity. So it's like signifying that these people are not as worthy of life as other people. So
yeah.
And again, this is all during the Inquisition, which was just really, really happening. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm sure so many things played into like this time period and why, it was easy. It's so wild that it was so easy to just be like witch, and people were like, okay, like
patriarchy, man,
killer.
Hell of a drug.
Yeah, it's hell of a drug. But other people had to be supporting that. And also I just wonder like what made this went on for hundreds of years. So it's not like they went, oh shit, they want to kill them now. I'm not going to say that about anyone. They started maliciously using it.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what was fueling that? Was it people coming from other countries and, other socioeconomic statuses, other religions? Like, what was all that? But it feels like that's what it was.
Amalgamation.
Yep. And that brings us sort of to today. You said a little bit like up until, did you say prohibition? Women were still brewing?
No, the Industrial Revolution.
Oh, the Industrial Revolution, which is when women had to go into the workplace. So they weren't able to, they were there for 14 hours. They weren't at home. So yeah, that kind of put a stamp on it, but I don't think it ever really recovered after the Great Hunt, as it was called in Europe, and all of these women being accused of witchcraft. It really never recovered, and it sort of petered out. And honestly, it hasn't recovered today. Even like the gender inequalities in modern day beer, It's still very much a male-dominated field, which we talked about in the beginning. We talked about that brewers are a majority male, majority white. A majority of the, like, it's not even just that brewers are male. It's like brewers are male, the marketing execs and the execs running these companies are male, and then like advertising skews male. And it's not just because of the content of the ads, but there is an assumption, which is so stupid, that women don't drink beer. And it's just not a woman's drink, which is so, oh my God, in 2021, honestly, it's so fucking dumb. Every time I'm in any sort of like craft brewery place, there's women there. We make up half the population. It's so ridiculous. According to the 2018 study that the Brewers Association did, 7.5% of brewers are women. So tiny. And it's
wild.
A little, yeah, it's so wild. And it's a little better in terms of ownership because it's 22.6% of brewery owners are women. But this is fucked up. And this is an assumption, but I think that's probably because women go into business with other people. And maybe sometimes that's like their husband or a dude they know. Like, women aren't out here on their own. Some are, but like mostly women are out here just like opening up craft breweries. It's when people don't even think women drink beer. So
yeah. I mean, and honestly, shout out to our very good friends, Megan and Travis, who have opened a brewery in Lake Arrowhead.
Technically
she's a lady brewer.
Is she a brewer or brewery owner? She has brewed.
Brewery owner. She has brewed.
Yeah, she's brewery owner. Yeah. She has brewed like her own batches, but I think they have like a
master
in-house.
brewer. Yeah.
It's a craft. I mean, it's like any other type of craft where you have an apprenticeship. Like, it takes time and dedication, and the hardest part about this stuff is it is a guy's game. So like if you are passionate about it and it's something you want to pursue, it's so hard. And I'm sure there are so many problems of getting even into a brewery and getting an apprenticeship and how you're treated in that space, how patrons treat you, drunk and mostly male. Like, I'm sure it's such an uphill battle, and there are cool places that are female owned, and we should seek them out. I know there's one in Calabasas that's supposed to be cool.
Ooh, awesome.
Yeah.
And like I said at the top of the show, I encourage anyone who's passionate about beer to check out the Pink Boots Society. It sounds really, if you're a woman looking to get into the field of brewing, I think that'd be a good resource to check out. And if you are a lady brewster or brewery owner, we'd love to hear from you.
Oh, yes.
I will
buy your beer. Yes.
I will buy your beer, even though I can't drink it right now.
Well, you can't, but I can.
DJ can drink it, and I could have sips of it. And yeah.
There's one in California. No, that's not it. I think it's Lady something or Sister something. It has like a lady sister type name.
Cool. Hey, sister lady.
Hey, sister lady girl, brewer sister. It is.
Hey, Katie girl.
Yeah.
Hey, beery girl. It's your yeah.
There is one called Three Weavers that is female.
Ooh, I love that name. That's fun.
Yeah. I think it's brewmaster Alexandra Noel. Oh, love to see it.
We love to see it.
Yeah.
Well, I miss beer a lot. I can't wait to drink it again with reckless abandon.
Yeah.
When I'm not pregnant or breastfeeding again.
Oh my God.
Someday.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's it, I think, right?
I think so. I love this topic. It's very fun.
Me too.
I love learning about the ancient history, especially. It's like so cool. I'm really interested in beer goddesses now. Hit me up if you know any more.
Yeah. Send us their names.
Would love to worship.
I will worship at the altar of them for their beer.
Love it. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Per usual, the best.
Follow us on social medias at DTFU Podcast.
all the places. We got everything. What do you want? We got it.
Yeah.
We don't have a parlor, but fuck that.
Oh, God.
Can you imagine?
We don't have parlor.
We don't do that. But
that's on purpose. Yeah.
all the normal social media places.
Yeah.
Go to our website, dtfupodcast.com. And drink a beer for me when you listen to this. That'd be great. I would appreciate that.
Yeah.
And listen, be excellent to yourselves.
And each other.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.